Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show, where you'll find health and fitness inspiration, motivation, and information shared in 15-minute episodes. Tune in while getting a move on to make leading and enjoying the benefits of a healthy lifestyle almost too easy. It's the Fit 15. And now your host, Catherine Basu.
Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show. I'm your host, Catherine Basu, and my guest today is Alison Cardy, who is a career coach and going to share with us a little bit about her fitness journey, why fitness is important to her, and the importance of staying active if you are going through a career change and just how that can be of benefit to you. But before I share our interview and Alison's official bio, I did want to just share a little thank you to Alison because while she has not been my personal career coach, Alison has had a huge positive impact on my life and my career and what I've been doing the past 6 years in my business as an entrepreneur and the owner of the fitness company Fit Armadillo. And I'm very grateful to her for that. She probably doesn't even realize all of the impact that she's had. So I had to do a quick little testimonial and shout out to her here. But there's two main things Alison has impacted. One is the podcast, and two is my book. The podcast, how did she have a role in that? Well, several years ago, Alison had me on an interview series or as part of an interview series for her website. And I was not enamored by the fact that I was behind the mic, but I actually was really inspired by the other women in that interview series. And these are women who I still think about some of their tips even to this day, several years later. And that was something that stuck with me, the power of women sharing their stories and their experiences over that audio format is something that I wanted to be able to do at some point. Very subconsciously at the time, but obviously it's had an impact on me, and Alison definitely played a role in the podcast because of that. And then also Alison's book, she was going through her author journey just before I started actually thinking about publishing the stories that were sitting on my computer that have since become my first book. And seeing her go through the publication process and getting inspired by her is what had me go from thinking, oh, I really should get these stories out there to actually going through with it. So, Alison, thank you for all that you've done for me in my career. And for those of you who are looking for a career coach, I have admitted I have not worked with Alison one-on-one, but she has definitely had an impact on me without even being my actual coach. So I definitely recommend checking her and her team out. All right, let's get to Alison's official bio and our conversation. Alison Cardy is a career truth teller who believes in living a life that actually feels like your own. She and her team have helped over 200 professionals find a great career fit through her proven clarity process. Alison is a frequent speaker at universities and alumni groups, including Harvard, MIT, Georgetown, and her alma mater, the University of Maryland. Alison is the author of the bestseller, Career Grease: How to Get Unstuck and Pivot Your Career. Her work has been featured on Monster, Forbes, The Muse, Undercover Recruiter, and The Washington Post. Her home on the web is cardycareercoaching.com. Welcome to the podcast, Alison. I'm so excited to have you as my guest today.
Thank you, Catherine. I am delighted to be here with you.
So we connected a while back because you had me on, I think it was a podcast series or some interview series. This was years ago. And I remember that you took your workouts really seriously. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of share your fitness journey with the listeners and why you feel that is important, in your job as a career coach. But could you share with the listeners a little bit about your background with fitness?
Definitely. Well, I was really blessed to grow up as an athlete. My parents put me in sports, so I grew up playing soccer and swimming, and I've really enjoyed pretty much any sporting activity. I've played volleyball, basketball, ultimate frisbee, done yoga, CrossFit, Olympic lifting, running, a little bit of
Hmm.
running. I just really like kind of kinesthetic learning and learning new things and getting better at them over time. That's a lot of fun for me.
I love that. So it's always kind of been part of your life then.
It has. I think it was something that, like I said, my parents just put me in. I was also a good athlete as a younger person, was
Hmm.
a competitive swimmer. But it's been, I think, a real blessing because it gave me like the habit of exercise that
Right.
I've stuck with pretty much. I mean, there are certainly periods where I'm more intense than others, but it's something that is kind of a default in my brain. Like, this is something that I do almost every day.
Hmm. Hmm. No, for sure. So I guess I know a lot of times people when they transition from playing a lot of sports when they're younger to like the real world as an adult, sometimes that's challenging. Have you how did you navigate that, or do you still play sports as an adult?
Let's see. It was a little bit confusing to me to
Hmm.
transition from somebody who had like a clear athletic goal to, okay, I guess now I more think of sports and exercising as like a maintenance kind of activity. Like, I'm not necessarily going for being the best at any one thing. I'm just trying to like keep the body healthy and
Hmm.
functioning and
Hmm.
strong for as long as possible. And I know exercise is really helpful for that. I did. I remember some in the DC area, there's a lot of traffic. So when I was working at one of my first jobs out of school, I would often stay or from kind of the work parking lot, I'd go for a run, or there was a swim practice that happened a little later at night. So I'd stay for that just to miss the traffic because
Hmm.
if I left at like 5:30, it would be a very long commute. If I left at 7, it wouldn't be. And then I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, and then now I definitely get to the gym pretty regularly, but I also
Hi, friends, it's Catherine. And if you are listening to the podcast and using it to help you get in an out and back walk, but only have 15 minutes, that sound was your halfway point reminder. You will want to turn around now. All right, back to Allison.
maybe to my detriment because I think it adds to like my mental to-do list. I try to figure out how I can get a little bit more movement in my day in smaller
Mm.
pockets as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Very cool. Well, I definitely stand behind this tip of sneaking in some movement, especially since a big premise of the show is to have people tune in while enjoying a walk. But I'd love to share some of your ideas for more inspiration with the listeners. So, what are some ways that you add in extra movement during your busy days?
Well, walks are amazing. I think it's great to get outside to clear your brain. I hope to take a walk later today.
Mm.
Also, I've been playing around with like a morning and evening, like really short yoga or some kind of stretching just to like warm up the body. And then it's nice to, at the end of the day, do something gentle that's physical. Like, I would say maybe take 10 minutes to do kind of a wind down restorative yoga type thing. It helps
Mm.
me like clear the mental stuff that I've been working all day and just get more in tune with my body. I do work from home, so I have a little more flexibility to do
Sure.
strange things.
Right.
Other things that I did or do sometimes is if I'm in a learning mode where I'm watching something on my screen or listening, it's not uncommon for me to like do some ankle rolls or stand up and hip circles, just something to kind of move around a little bit. Oh, and then I have one other funny one that I do. I had this one CrossFit coach who said it would be good to accumulate 2 minutes in the bottom of a squat. So like in day to like
Yep.
strengthen your stabilizers there. What I've done is my toothbrush goes for like, it's the automatic toothbrush. It goes for 2 minutes. So I take my toothbrush and it like does a little every 30 seconds. So I squat for 30 seconds in the morning when I'm brushing my teeth and 30 seconds at night when I'm brushing my teeth. And I'm working my way up to more. I actually had somebody correct my squat position recently. So I had been up to a minute, but then with the new position, my muscles were like, what is this? So I'm back down to 30 seconds. But
yeah,
some of how I get in some movement in the day.
Yeah, I like that. Well, okay, so do you have, I mean, I know we can't see you, but was there like something specific that maybe some of us might be doing poorly in our squats to think about? Or
Well, I'm pretty tall, and apparently my like the width that my feet were was too narrow.
Okay.
I also had an abdominal surgery this past year, and I think my squat maybe used to be better. And then in recovering from that, I think it got a little lazy. Do you know when you like, I forget the word, but you're kind of, your butt goes up a little too soon, or So I think I got a bad habit from my recovery there. And I didn't even know that I had it until somebody squatted on it.
See, well, it's good that you have someone, taking a look, because I think most of us, we don't really know until, I know for me, I can see it in other people, but I can't always feel something's off for myself. So,
and movement's so tricky because since we do it all the time, there's like, I think, a mental assumption. Of course, I'm doing it right. I know how to do this. I'm doing it all the time. So I was really shocked when I got the feedback, oh, your squat is off. But then once I understood where I was doing it wrong, I could fix it pretty fast. I just wasn't even conscious of it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, I, for one thing, I'm going to have to steal your toothbrush tip. Mine does not do the 30-second change it down. It's just a straight 2 minutes. But I like that idea of just using that small time frame to get something done, right?
Yeah, I think it's actually been good. It was pretty hard at first. Like I said, I'm gonna try to jump it up and do a little bit more, but I do feel a little stronger at squat now.
Yeah. Well, very cool. I know a productivity coach might not sign off on my next statement because you're not supposed to multitask and multitasking doesn't exist. But I think there is an exception when you're able to get moving while doing something. That's a great thing to try if you're able to do that. And that's something I picked up back when your book actually came up. I remember reading my Kindle while walking. So learning something while getting a few extra minutes of movement in during my day instead of just sitting at my desk all day. Wanted to ask you, Alison, one of the main things that you do is help people go into their next chapter and gain clarity as they're changing careers. So is there anything you could share with the listeners on the importance of being active during that career change process in particular, or even more broadly when we've found that career that we enjoy, the role fitness might play?
For sure. Well, when you're in a career change or thinking about a career change, there's typically a couple things that are going on. You're probably not happy where you are, or else you wouldn't be thinking about it.
Right.
So you're probably not going to be feeling at your best. Another thing that can often happen is it's really easy to get, particularly for the clients that I work with, I have the pleasure of working with some really smart, educated professionals. It's very easy to get kind of stuck in your brain thinking about all the different possibilities and trying to figure out the best option. So with both of those things, it's really important to pay attention to your physicality. In the first case, if you're not feeling that great because work sucks, you have a bad boss, you're not doing what you love to do, then definitely giving yourself some type of physical outlet or movement is going to be really helpful, just to boosting your overall well-being in a time when you're not necessarily feeling that great. And then for the second scenario, it's just a good check when you're doing something more physical, particularly if you're either consciously trying to like be present in your body, or if you are actively in a class or working out with a trainer or whatever you might be doing, that you're naturally going to kind of drop your thinking a little bit because you're going to be moving your body some. And I think giving your brain some breaks and some space to just kind of simmer down is really important. A lot of what we see with our clients is they're thinking themselves in circles around the change, and that's why they get stuck. One of the biggest things that we propose is clarity comes through taking action, which obviously doing physical stuff isn't going to directly impact your career change, but being in a more active mode. And then if you want to take a walk to actually talk to somebody and explore a particular career field, that would be a 2 thumbs up type of activity for this career coach to offer.
Yeah. I love that. That's definitely helpful. I don't know if you've ever had clients share this with you, but I know for myself personally, when I go out and run, I often get these good ideas. Maybe I need to put that in quotes that they're good ideas, but that process of stepping away from my desk and getting moving seems to be correlated with having some added insight that maybe I didn't have before I went out and went on that run and was active. So anything that you've ever had clients share along those lines that maybe the listeners could benefit from?
I haven't heard that directly, but I imagine like in between sessions that people are interacting with the material and hopefully taking care of their health in other ways. One thing I can note, which I actually didn't share with you ahead of time, is we are playing a little bit with this idea of the intersection of physicality and career change with a clarity camp type of thing that we're going to try out this summer. I'm pretty excited about it because so much of making a change is moving through fear and moving through the unknown into somewhere new. And we're going to try combining some experiential, more like challenge course type of stuff where you can really feel what that's like in a safe type of environment, and then notice the application of that in navigating a change. So I think for sure, physicality is a great metaphor and can certainly spark some new ideas. And I'm really curious to see how that camp type idea, we're just going to do like a long weekend at a local camp setting, how that influences people's ability to make new connections and see things that they wouldn't see if they're just sitting at home behind their computer just thinking about things.
Right. Okay, we're gonna have to stay in touch to hear how that goes for sure. That's super exciting.
Yeah, we're mid putting it together, so
yeah.
1, we'll see if it comes together, but 2, we'll see how it pans out. But I'm pretty optimistic. I think there's so many parallels to just pushing yourself physically, and that can be a lot more tangible than pushing yourself psychologically, which is a lot of what you're doing when you're going through a career change. It's inherently uncomfortable. You're going somewhere you haven't been before.
Right. So I wonder, then Alison, do you ever bring that up with clients, the importance of moving in particular or just self-care in general as they're going through that stressful time of a career change?
I wouldn't say it's something that we hit in every case, though perhaps we should. There's one situation in particular where if you're in a time of your life where one job has come to a close and you don't have the next thing lined up and there's kind of a gap period, that can be a hyper stressful time for people. And I think one way to consider it is if you try to like job search or work on this all the time, you're gonna kind of go crazy. So it's important in that type of time period in particular to prioritize your health, your fitness, to do some things that give you juice outside of just working on that limbo period and trying to get it sorted out. It's kind of like it's more of a mental shift, but if you knew it was all going to work out, then how would you treat that time versus if you're spending the whole time questioning, is this going to work out or not, you're probably going to have a much worse experience. But if you know, okay, this is going to work out, let me take care of myself along the way, that's going to be really supportive.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, you're bringing me back. I wish I had reviewed your book a little bit more before we were chatting, but I feel like that some of these mental pieces were things that I remember, like I'm now reminding myself were happening in the book, that you had some case studies, and that was really helpful. I think even though I wasn't going through a career change at the time, just trying to think about what I was doing in my own business at the time, was that kind of going towards what I wanted or not? So
yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things that life evolves over time. Like, it's not as though we get one shot of clarity and then it's just done for our entire lives. It's what works in this season of your life, and then you're going to evolve as a person. Your needs and wants, and even just the experience that you've had, will evolve, and then it's kind of a recalibration over time. And it takes a little conscious thought to keep that ship on a course that you're feeling really good about.
sure. Oh, for sure. Well, I've enjoyed hearing about, behind the scenes of your workout routine of late, and some of the tricks you have, and the exciting potential for that camp experience in the summer. I wonder, Alison, if you could share anything else you wanted to share with the listeners, just motivating them to get moving or their career, and then also how we can stay in touch with you to see what else is coming up.
All right. Well, I took your question a couple different ways. So
Sure.
motivation to get moving is, and you've probably heard or said this a lot of times, if you just get to whatever activity.
Yeah.
It's like, put on your shoes, walk outside. I definitely, for myself personally, I think I try to be consistent rather than die hard all the time. So some days I'm not feeling it, but I still show up and do something.
I love that.
Thanks. And then for careers, getting moving, it's kind of the same idea of taking action, prioritize real world action of interacting with people, experiences, events in your areas of interest. That's going to be really helpful for you. So same thing, put on their shoes and get somewhere. And then for where folks can find me, our team is at cardycareercoaching.com. That's Cardy, CARDY, careercoaching.com. And if you could use some help with a career transition, we are experts in how to get through this stuff with your sanity intact.
I love that. Yeah, definitely a challenging time, but I think people will be in good hands. Like I haven't worked with you personally, but through your book, I feel like that was a good little insight behind the scenes, and felt like you have a lot of good insight to share. So
thank you.
So Alison, well, thanks for stopping by the podcast.
You're so welcome. That was fun. I really appreciate you having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to the Fit 15. For show notes and more, visit fitarmadillo.com/podcast. See you next time.
Hi, friends. It's Catherine, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Alison and are feeling inspired to go out there and live a life that actually feels like your own. Maybe change your career, tweak it a little bit. Highly recommend checking out Alison's book, which I read and found very helpful. And also check out her website. That way you can be on the email list for some of the fun events and things that Alison and her team have coming up in the coming months. And there is also a great quiz on the website. So if you go there, you'll be able to do that for free just to get you started and get you thinking. If you are a subscriber of the podcast already, I thank you. If not, I invite you to subscribe for some fun episodes coming up. Those of you who are runners are going to enjoy the next two with Mark Minicello, who is my next guest, talking about some general running tips and then some Boston Marathon running tips to get you ready for race day, and specifically the race day that we are going to be having this coming marathon Monday. So don't miss out on that. If you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to leave us a rating and review over on iTunes and or Stitcher. They are greatly appreciated. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.